Radhika, Ayubowan, good morning. It's interesting to be here to speak at the World Marketing Forum. Thank you very much for inviting me, and especially after the session on humanizing, because I'm talking about leadership. A little introduction about myself. I was a marketer and ended up as a CEO of Aviva Insurance in Sri Lanka, which is AIA now. And since I left my full-time work, I now help organizations to develop leaders. So why leadership is important in this era? And I have a very simple message. Changes require leadership, especially with coping, thinking, sensing capabilities. So that's all I'm going to talk in the next few minutes. And we have seen this through many times, how changes are happening very fast. And if you really look at what is happening is, changes are very fast and they are dramatic. I think if you recall the Microsoft presentation, you saw a lot of that. So I will not spend time on this. Right? It is not only in the technical field, whether it is in the climate scene, whether it is in the political scene, whether it is in the educational field, everywhere the changes are dramatic and they happen much faster. So when changes are faster in the external environment, and if you do not have similar changes internally, your organizations will not survive. That's why we have a phrase called, have you seen dinosaurs dance? You don't see them. And the traditional way of managing things, I think the presentation so far suggested it's not going to work. So when you cannot manage, all what you need to implement is leadership, leading. So teaching leadership, I use this very simple framework by Dave Ulrich. Leaders have to play 4 different roles. First, you got to be a strategist. You need to think where your organization is going. Whatever the level you're in, that's the first thing. Then you must make things happen. You have to be an executor. In order to do that, you need to get your people along your way. So you've got to be a talent manager. And of course, as you grow the organization and yourself, you need to develop people to take your organization forward, to be a human capital developer. These are the 4 roles any leader in any organization at anywhere will play. In order to do that, you need a set of personal competencies, which we call personal proficiency. And what I am going to share with you today are 3 of those which are very relevant in this new era. Number 1, coping. Coping with uncertainty. Actually, it is a natural capability. You will discover this when you walk. Now, for example, if you walk very slowly, what are you doing? You are raising one foot and you give your entire weight to the other foot. You go through imbalance all the time. That's what coping is all about in this uncertain environment. So there are 2 things which make us possible that we walk. Number 1, we are confident that the ground is still firm. You have seen people riding their bikes in urban floods because they think the road is there. The second condition is you are clear about where you want to go. So 2 things. You think the ground is firm, and more importantly, you have your sense of direction. So to cope, what we need to learn is these two capabilities. To be sure of where yourself, and more importantly, have a sense of direction. The second thing that you need to develop in able to cope all these challenges that is coming to you in this new era is to have more metta towards yourself. I like to use this metaphor. If you were your own child, will you be not more caring for you? And most of the time, we are too harsh on ourselves. So when you are harsh on yourself, you take a lot of energy from yourself. So if you really want to get more energy from you, treat yourself as if you're your own child. Next thing is, based on Jana's presentation and Kotler's presentation, we got to be more creative, because creativity is going to be a crucial differentiator for leaders. Let's look at it slightly differently. All over the world, the programs like Got Talent, what has it done? It has raised the level of performance. I think the same thing is happening with technology. Let me take an example from advertising, because all of us are marketers. Those days, in an agency, your creativity was dependent upon how good your creative director was. When the print came, you started getting magazines from all over the world, and your creativity was influenced by what you saw. Then came satellite TV, things became even better. And you know how it changes with social media and internet. Now what's happening with AI? I'm trying to simplify this whole thing. What it will do is, it will synthesize the collective creativity of mankind, so that you will have an enormous capability of creativity which we never had before. So I personally believe it will be a platform for you to move forward. Then, sensing. Sensing is a natural capability of any living organism. You should be able to sense. And we had sensing capability with us as human beings. Those days, farmers in the tropics will watch these weaver birds' nests. If the birds build their nests on higher branches, then farmers know, oh, there's going to be heavy rain in the season. But if they did it on the lower, then they know the rain is going to be low. They didn't depend on weather forecasts. But we have lost this ability to sense, because we are depending on technology very much. And you must be having this experience. A guy comes on Uber delivering food, and he says, I'm at the location. Then you find he is not there. Then you ask, did you pass such and such a landmark? He cannot tell, because he was not looking at the world, he was looking at the app. So we are losing our ability, which is a natural ability to sense. And we have become increasingly lonely also. I remember when Mr. Hermavan came to Sri Lanka many years ago, long time before COVID, he was telling, we are increasing our frequency of contact, but we are losing the depth of communication. Right? It's very true. We are increasing the number of times we contact, but the depth of communication is very low. So there's lonely. Right? So we don't sense. Now this is going to be a differentiator if you want to be a smart leader in the new era. So there are 3 levels of sensing. The easier one is operative environment. All these Data analytics and all these things will give you what's happening and to predict, how is the consumer is going to behave. But the more importantly, can you sense your neighbor who sits next to you? With whom are you working, sensing, and more importantly, sense yourself. Do you know what you're thinking, why you are thinking, what's happening to you? We are so busy trying to learn what is our customer is thinking. And in the process, you lose yourself also. So the new leader will have a far higher self-sensing capability. In order to develop this self-sensing capability, there's only one direction to go. That is to go inward. To go inward and develop two capabilities. One, to become aware of what's happening right now, here and now. And being able to observe things without losing perspective. It's very easy to lose perspective because you get involved. Right? So this is a very important capability in this new era. The more you become aware of what's happening, the more you can observe it without getting involved, you become a much clearer person. You have that ability to create, to cope, to sense. Fortunately, this can be learned by anyone. Every skill can be learned. So no point listening about a skill. We need to learn. If you are ready, I would like to do a small 5-minute guided session so that you can experience what I am talking about. I will play a bell, right, in a while. So before that, can you please sit as comfortably as possible, so that you will not have to move here and there for the next few minutes, right? Let's sit very comfortable and leave everything on your hand to your table. Get your hands free. Don't worry, I'm not going to hypnotize you. Sit very comfortable. And I will play the bell, and close your eyes and try to listen to the sound of that bell. Now gently close your eyes. Bring your attention inward and feel that you are sitting on this chair. See how you feel. You're sitting on the chair. How do you feel under your feet? Just notice. And slowly bring your attention along your legs to the knees. And to the buttocks. And see how your weight presses onto the chair. And feel that you are sitting on the chair comfortably. How do you feel on your back? If you have any tensions, ask your back to relax and become aware of all your body sensations from your waist all the way up to your neck. Now bring your attention to your fingertips and feel all the sensations on your hands. From the fingertips all the way up to the shoulders. And feel how your head is positioned. Is it straight or bent? Relax. Now you have a sense of feeling that you're sitting here, which is real. Then pay your attention to all the sounds that is in the background. When you just notice these sounds, you find that in between those sounds, there is silence. See whether you can notice any thoughts that pop up in your mind. And if it is anything to do with the past, just tell yourself, not now. And if the thought is about something that you are going to do or into the future, again tell, not now. When you keep doing this, you will come to a moment where you will notice that you will be breathing without interfering, without forcing. Just try to notice that you are breathing. And if you notice anything else, come back to your breath. Keep watching your breath until you hear the sound of the bell. When the sound of the bell ends, slowly open your eyes. So what you tried to do was, instead of thinking about the future, instead of dwelling in the past, you try to experience what happens right now in this moment. Your body sensations, that is real. The sounds you hear, that is real. The thoughts that pop up, that's real. And you become aware of it. And you learn to come back to your breath by letting go what is not relevant. So if you keep practicing this at least a few minutes a day, you develop this ability to become aware. When you become aware of yourself, you will be more aware about everybody else. If you are not aware about yourself, how can you be aware of the rest of the world? And the most important person that you need to be aware is yourself. Because as a leader, the challenges that you are going to face are much more in time to come. Because Changes are fast, they are so dramatic, and then it demands a lot from you. So you need this energy to be that leader who is creative, who can cope ambiguity, uncertainty, and more importantly, who can sense what is beyond data, sense what is beyond research. Because that's a human ingenuity that you need. So that's the kind of leader who will thrive in the new era, which is needed in this new Marketingverse. Because we are talking about a completely different operating environment. For that, you need a new mind operating system. And this is the code for that mind operating system, which you call mindfulness. So my invitation to you is invest your time and energy in this so that you will develop this skill, which is far more important than anything else in time to come. So I try to finish a little early so that we can get the program back on track. I wish you Ayubowan. May you live long.